Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going straight to the absolute limits of sports history. We're talking about the true anomalies, the numbers that are so massive, so mind-bogglingly dominant that they literally defy time itself. So grab a seat, because we're going to dissect the anatomy of the truly unbreakable record. It's kind of the ultimate philosophical question in sports, isn't it? I mean, every time we turn on a game, we hear that classic cliche, records are made to be broken. And sure, a 100-meter dash time might shave off a fraction of a second every decade, or maybe a modern offense squeaks past some old passing milestone. But why do certain milestones remain completely, utterly untouched? Why do they stand there like mountains, while others just crumble like sandcastles? What actually separates a great record from an immortal one?
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to map this out across four main themes today. First, when the game changes. Second, the Iron Men of longevity. Third, untouchable peak dominance. And finally, will they ever fall? Starting right off with Section 1, when the game changes. You see, sometimes it's not just that an athlete was incredibly talented. It's actually that the sport itself has fundamentally shifted, essentially locking a record away in a vault forever. Think about the structural shifts we've seen over the last few decades. We're talking sweeping changes in rules and strategy and analytics. I mean, today's players are incredibly protected. Sometimes it feels like they're wrapped in bubble wrap compared to the old days, right? Plus, front offices now use advanced analytics to optimize playing time, which drastically limits an individual's volume. When the whole environment alters like that, replicating the past becomes literally impossible. Take this staggering number, 511. That is the career win total for baseball pitcher Cy Young, amassed way back between 1890 and 1911. Modern starting pitchers simply do not pitch enough games or even enough innings within those games to even approach this number anymore. Today, we've got analytics telling managers exactly when to pull a pitcher based on pitch counts. Just to put it in perspective, between 2017 and 2023, only 7 pitchers even hit a 20-win season. Catching 511, it's completely mathematically out of the question. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. Look at this crazy contrast. Cy Young has an untouchable 749 complete games. Now, think about Justin Verlander, absolutely one of the greatest active pitchers of our modern era, right? He sits at a paltry 26 complete games. Actually, the strategy of baseball has evolved so radically away from the lone workhorse pitcher that Young's record isn't just safe, it belongs to a completely different version of the sport. We see this exact same structural shift over in the NFL too. Take Emmitt Smith's 18,355 career rushing yards. The guy was an absolute workhorse for 14 seasons. But today, the NFL has completely transitioned into a passing league. Quarterback stats are skyrocketing, while running back stats inevitably drop. And then consider Jerry Rice with his 208 career touchdowns. Rice played in an era that lacked today's super strict rules protecting quarterbacks and limiting defensive plays, yet he put up numbers we will never see again. Even in today's so-called golden age of receiving, the closest active player is Davante Adams at 95. Rice is literally over 100 touchdowns ahead. No way anyone catches that. Another massive casualty of changing strategy is the stolen base. Pre-turn of the century, stealing bases was a huge, defining part of baseball strategy. This allowed Rickey Henderson to amass an unbelievable 1,406 stolen bases. That's almost 500 more than the guy in second place, Lou Brock. 500! Sure, baseball recently introduced slightly larger bases and limits on throws to first to encourage stealing again, but let's be real. The modern analytical game will never allow steal numbers to rise anywhere near Henderson's legendary level. Moving right along to Section 2, the Iron Men of longevity. Now, this number is almost difficult to even comprehend. 2,632. That is the number of consecutive baseball games played by Cal Ripken Jr. Think about that. Most of us need a rest day after a tough week at the office, but Ripken simply didn't rest. Period. Contrast this fiercely with the modern era we live in today, heavily dominated by load management, where athletes are strategically rested throughout a long, grueling season. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, because this wasn't just a streak of a couple of years. This was over 16 years of showing up to work every single day, from May 1982, marching all the way to September 1995, when he finally broke Lou Gehrig's 2,130 record. And then, he just kept going for another 3 years. To give you some modern context, the longest recent streak starting in the 2010s was Whit Merrifield at 553 games. Ripken's record is nearly 5 times that. It's just wild. Over in golf, notice the massive gap here. Tiger Woods spent a staggering 683 total weeks at world number one. To put that into perspective, only 3 golfers have ever spent a full calendar year at number one. Tiger did it 8 times in the 2000s alone. He has 352 more weeks at the top than the second-place golfer, Greg Norman. And of course, we absolutely have to talk about King James. For decades, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 38,387 NBA points was the quintessential unbreakable record. I mean, Karl Malone and Kobe Bryant made valiant runs at it, but they still fell thousands of points short. Then LeBron James comes along, shatters it, and just keeps going, pushing past 40,474 points. Through sheer relentless longevity and incredible physical conditioning, LeBron has pushed this record into the stratosphere. The closest active player is Kevin Durant, and he's roughly 12,000 points behind.
Honestly, the list of athletes who simply outlasted their peers is mind-bending. Take Julio Cesar Chavez. He started his boxing career 87-0 before even seeing a draw. Today, most top boxers don't even fight 50 times in their entire career. Or how about Richard Petty, driving to an incredible 200 NASCAR wins, nearly double the guy in second place. Then there's John Stockton, amassing 15,806 NBA assists. He is over 3,000 assists ahead of his closest rival. And in tennis, Novak Djokovic spending 427 weeks at world number one. The consistency required to do this is just inhuman.
That brings us to Section 3, untouchable peak dominance. And what's really interesting here is the sheer absurdity of Wayne Gretzky's dominance. Look at the numbers. Gretzky has 2,857 career NHL points. No one else has even eclipsed 2,000. But here is the crazy part. Gretzky has 1,963 career assists. Think about that. If Wayne Gretzky had never scored a single goal in his entire life, his assists alone would still rank higher than any other player's total career points. That right there is the very definition of peak dominance. And when we talk about dominating a sport, no human has ever owned a stage like Michael Phelps owned the pool. Before Phelps, the record for most career Olympic gold medals was 9. Look at this staircase of dominance. 6 in Athens, a mind-blowing 8 in Beijing, 4 in London, 5 in Rio, 23 Olympic gold medals. He didn't just break the previous record of 9, he more than doubled it against the absolute greatest athletes on the planet over 4 separate Olympic Games. Just incredible. Let's switch gears to Formula One. Michael Schumacher's 68 pole positions used to look entirely unbeatable. Then Lewis Hamilton blew right past it to secure 104 pole positions. To understand how dominant that is, let's look at today's reigning champion, Max Verstappen. Verstappen seems to win everything right now, right? But he sits roughly 65 poles behind Hamilton. For Max to catch up, he would need to win the pole position in 44% of his next 147 races. His current average? Just 20%. Hamilton's peak dominance basically mathematically locked this record away for good.
Now think about the physical and mental toll of professional tennis. In 1984, Artina Navratilova went on a 10-month path of total destruction. From February to December, she defeated everyone in her path, winning 74 consecutive matches and 3 majors along the way. Not only is she the only player to reach 74 match wins in a row, but no one else has even hit 50. Bjorn Borg got to 49, and Serena Williams' longest streak was 34. Navratilova was simply untouchable. This peak dominance extends beyond individual sports and right into the ultimate team sport winners. We're talking about athletes whose individual championship counts are completely out of reach for modern players. Bill Russell won 11 NBA championships in just 13 years with the Celtics. Michael Jordan would have needed 2 more three-peats just to catch him. Henri Richard won 11 Stanley Cups with the Montreal Canadiens. And Pelé, the beautiful game's greatest exponent, won 3 World Cup titles for Brazil. Only 3 actual countries have more World Cup trophies than Pelé does as an individual. Think about that.
And finally, Section 4, will they ever fall?
So we've looked at structural shifts, longevity, and peak dominance. But the crucial point is perfectly summarized by Jack Nicklaus, the holder of 18 golf majors. He once said, with his typical humility, records are made to be broken. Now, back in 2008, when Tiger Woods won his 14th major, literally everyone thought it was just a matter of time before he caught Jack. But here we are. Over 15 years later, Tiger is safely stuck at 15 titles, and Nicklaus's record of 18 seems safer than ever. Sometimes, even when the greatest athlete of a generation is chasing you down, the finish line is just a little bit too far.
Well, we've explored the structural shifts that protect Cy Young, the grueling longevity that elevates Cal Ripken Jr. and LeBron James, and the peak statistical anomalies of Wayne Gretzky and Michael Phelps. It leaves us with a totally fascinating thought to ponder.
As sports science continues to evolve, as nutrition and analytics reach science fiction levels of optimization, which of these titans will be the last one standing? I'll leave that for you to decide. Thanks so much for exploring the anatomy of the Unbreakable with me in this explainer. Catch you next time.